Entertainment Law Podcast and My Takeaways by Loretta Chapman. This podcast was very informative and included a lot of valuable information some that I knew and some that I didn't. The entire podcast covered cases that were settled or still pending at the end of December 2015. The first case that was discussed was the case of Santa Claus is Coming to Town. A second circuit court judge decided that the rights to the song Santa Claus is Coming to Town will remain with the family or heirs of J. Fred Kreutz, the person who wrote the song. This was able to happen due to the Copyright Term Extension Act, which allows people to extend their copyright past the 56 years normally allowed. This is a new law that has been in circulation. Not that new, but it's definitely not something that a lot of older songs had a right to. This did, however, allow them to maintain the rights to the song, and normally, had the song passed its 56-year mark, the song would have become public domain and would be available for anyone to use. I thought this was very important, and it was a great takeaway for me because I have a grandfather who wrote a very important poem, in my opinion, and it's a poem that was written in the 50s and that was only copyrighted in the 80s by my mother, but it is something that I hold dear to me, and I would like to be able to make sure that it's being protected past my generation. And with this law, it will be able to, because I can extend that copyright once the rights have been released to me. And I thought that that was very important and a great takeaway and something to remember being in the entertainment industry, that just because I know that a song or a work was made 56 years ago does not mean that these people do not, or the owners do not still own the rights to the song because it's been past 56 years. They can extend that, and I need to make sure that if I am using a song and I feel that it is public domain, I must make sure that I am doing the right research to confirm that it is public domain and keep myself out of trouble uh, in the future. The next case that was discussed in the podcast was the Happy Birthday song. I know you know it. Happy birthday to you. That song. Um, the problem with this song was back in September of last year, a case was filed because a filmmaker who actually started out doing a documentary on the song decided he would ask how much would it be to use the song in his documentary. He reached out to Warner Chappell Music and they told him something like $1,500, and he let them know, like, hey, you don't even technically own rights to this song, so you can't charge me for using it. It ended up going to court, and I think that that's like really, really cool because, first of all, it was just somebody trying to make a documentary on the song and ended up finding out that, hey, you don't own the rights to the song. And uh, that's how it all started. But the verdict for this was kind of unusual to me, or something that I never heard of. The judge decided that no one actually owns the rights to this song, unless someone steps forth with um, copyright um, protection over the song in the future. But as of right now, Warner Chappell nor any of the other publishing companies that own this uh, allowed people to use the song prior to that date actually owned it. So not only did Warner Chappell not own it, but the company they bought it from did not own the rights to that song, and the company that company bought it from did not own the rights to that song. The judge not only decided that no one owns the rights to this song, he left open on the table for anyone who can prove that they own the rights to this song to be able to demand back royalties from all three companies involved for the royalties from this song. And I thought that was amazing. Not only did they find out, like, hey, you don't own it, you can't sell it, no one owns it, but hey, just in case we find out someone does own it, you have to pay these people because you've been selling this song and making money off this song all of this time, and you never actually own the song. Um, I thought like this whole case was like amazing because it all started with someone trying to make a documentary on the song and where it came from. The two parties involved in the lawsuit ended up settling. The terms of the settlement are not um, as known as the judgment from the judge, but the settlement has nothing to do with what the judge decided, and in deciding that no one actually owns the rights. So as of right now, anyone is able to use the happy birthday song in any way that they want, and it is public domain. They do not have to request access or permission to use this song, which means that I could sing this song right now if I wanted to, but I'm not, because I'm not a good singer. That is not my specialty. But yeah, I really did enjoy learning this about this song. It's really great information. I know that if I need to use it in a movie or in a I would like to remix the song or anything, or have one of my artists do something of that nature, it would be okay for them to do so because the song is not owned by anyone and it is, as of now, public domain. The last case that stood out to me and was a takeaway for me was a very famous case that I remember um, paying attention to all of last year and have mixed emotions about. Um, this would be the Blurred Lines case. This is a case between Marvin Gaye's estate versus Robin Thicke, Pharrell Williams, Clifford T.I. Harris, and all of their publishing companies, recording companies. It ended up being so many people on the lawsuit, like I can't even remember. But the problem with the lawsuit, or the reason for the lawsuit, was Marvin Gaye's family felt that Robin Thicke and the others used a lot of the music in the song, and remade it and used it for their number one hit, Blurred Lines. Now, I've listened to both songs, and in my opinion, they are very, very close, especially at the beginning of the song and different things. There are a lot of similarities, and it is easy to see why the gay family felt that the song was stolen or unlawfully used. Uh, the song did make a lot of money, and it stayed at number one for a very long time. So, rightfully so, the gay family felt that they were entitled to some of that money that was from the song. This is another copyright case, um, and it was decided on uh, last year, and the judge. So the jury decided that the only people that were liable were Robin Thicke, Pharrell Williams, and their publishing and recording companies. They decided that Clifford T.I. Harris and his publishing and recording companies were not liable. But the judge decided that they were T.I. was liable, and because of this and different things and the amount of money that was awarded to the gay family was like really, really high, and then it went down to like 3.19 million plus 50% of all royalties from the song. But um, because of the weird way that it was handled and different other factors, Robin Thicke, Pharrell Williams, and T.I. all decided to appeal this ruling. They decided that not only was the judge unfair in changing what the jury decided, they also decided that the um, judgment shouldn't have been changed from what the jury decided. And they said that the copyright was not infringed upon. They are trying to say that they did not, the only thing that was technically covered or protected with the copyright was the sheet music from Marvin Gaye's songs. And the sheet music and the actual song are two totally different things. The song recording itself and the music behind the song recording was not, in fact, um, copywritten. And for that reason, they have appealed. And I think that they have a pretty good case. If that actual music was not, in fact, copywritten, then you can't be sued because of it. So I can't wait to see what happens with this case. I think it's very, very important for anyone in the entertainment industry to pay attention to, as well as anyone that likes the song or cares at all. This now concludes the end of my takeaways from the podcast. And I really hope that you enjoyed my personal opinion as well as a summary on three of the cases that were discussed.